Find a tribe. Find a tribe. Why you so stressed? It's not that serious. And free your mind. It's gonna be alright. Find a tribe. Find a tribe. Find a tribe. Find a tribe. Find a tribe.
Well, you're listening to Glory 93.9 FM. It's officially Girl Talk time. It is 31 minutes gone by the 4 o'clock hour. It's your girl Marisha here in your company on this beautiful, yes, it's a beautiful Thursday. A beautiful Thursday, guys. And October is just about gone. Can you believe it? Oh, man, it's just flown by. But listen, I'm just so grateful to God for his loving kindness, for his tender mercies. I am always reminded, especially during this season, what the psalmist David says in the book of Lamentations. He says, "It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed. His compassion toward us fails not. His mercies are new every morning. Great is his faithfulness." I don't know about you, but I have not been consumed because of the mercies of God that have been extended toward me daily. And I want to encourage us today to have a posture of gratitude, being grateful to God for the new mercies that he's extended to us in this day. Guess what? We're still alive. We're still breathing. He's still lending us his breath. That means he's not done with us yet. That means that there's still a purpose that's on the inside of us that's awaiting to be birthed in the earth. That means that we're still busy about doing whatever it is that God has called us to do. That means he's not quite ready for us to join him in heaven yet. And I'm excited that I'm still in that number, like the old saints would say. I'm glad to be in that number that he's still using, that he still chooses to be his vessel. How you doing today, my girlfriend? What you saying? How was your day? How was your week? What you got going on? Tell the truth. Answer me back. I know I can't hear you, but answer me back. Oh man, I hope you had an awesome day. I pray that you had an opportunity to laugh and to smile today. You're beautiful, in case nobody told you that today, inside and out. And whatever you got on today, girl, you look good. You look good. You look good. Even if your eyebrows ain't arched right, you look good. You look good. What you saying, Raquel? Hey, what you saying? Awesome. I'm glad you're great. Listen, y'all, I'm so excited for today's conversation. Our topic is Let It Go. And today's guest, I begin the show like how I always begin all of our shows, by telling you how I met this person, and I am absolutely stumped. When I tell y'all, oh my goodness, I was just racking my brain trying to remember how I met this young lady. Hey, Tamara. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Tamara. So I was racking my brain trying to figure out how I met this young lady. Definitely on social media, but she and I have been in the same room in person at some point in time in our lives. But for some strange reason, I cannot recall to my mind. And I'm trying to remember, like, cause I know we had to have been in the same room at some point in time, and I'm still like, I'm absolutely stumped. But I will tell you this: I'll tell you my portion of the story, and then when I introduce her and I bring her up on camera, she can tell her version of the story. So I know for a fact that I stalk her on Facebook. I'm officially her social media stalker. I've been watching her. I've read her book. I have like wished I could have seen one of her plays. I've never been like in the vicinity at the right time, at the right place where I was available. But I've heard about her plays and how it's impacted so many people. But I love her posts. Her posts have caused me to think about how I live my life as a single woman, as a woman of God. She had me questioning how I value my worth, how I treat myself. What's the price tag that I put on myself that other people pay to get access to me? These are the things that she's taught me not even knowing that she's taught me them. And I have such a great honor and appreciation for who she is, because she's just a little bit older than I am. I think I could be wrong, but I just admire her maturity and the grace with which she does what it is that God has called her to do. So I'm not going to delay this any further. I want to introduce to some the beautiful, the lovely Kerel Pinder. Hey girl, hey, 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 hey.
Hey,
What you saying?
good. Can you see me? Is it all
I can see you. I can hear you. We're all good. We are all good. How are you?
good? Thanks so much for that introduction. My light isn't doing what I wanted to do. Okay,
I know.
that's a little better. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for that introduction. I was so honored. I'm being ghetto right now. I'm doing my light.
No,
Okay, we
you're
good.
fine. You're fine. You're fine. And I love that lippy. It is gorgeous. That color. It looks really
Oh,
good on you.
thank you. Thank you for that. Oh, I didn't know that. Like when you were reading, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I think it's something that I think we could do a better job as girlfriends. Like we could tell our girlfriends sometimes, listen, like I be reading your posts and they really is be blessing me. We's too bad sometimes, and
You're both okay.
I've been trying to do better with that. So I thought I would start off today's show by telling you, listen, you've encouraged me, you've challenged me a lot. If I tell the truth, most people won't say this to you, but I'll tell you this. There are sometimes some things you post, I'm offended. And a lot of times, no, for real, I'm telling you the truth. I'm offended. And what I've learned as I've matured is usually when somebody you don't know offends you, it's because they're speaking a truth that you need to hear. And there's a part of you that's resisting that truth. So if I tell you the truth, most of the times when I read your post, they offended me. Like I was like, I don't know this girl talking about. She didn't stop running on. And then like I would have a moment of reflection after that. I'd be like, yeah, but she right though. Mother's sick. Like she right. This is what I needed to hear. Stop doing foolishness and get your life in order, Marisha, and love yourself more. And so, yeah, I am not afraid to say it, and I'm also not. I'm not sad anymore. I'm not disappointed. I'm not upset. I'm not bothered, annoyed when people are offended with me, because I realize that I'm saying something that obviously you need to hear. But there's a part of us that always resists the truth that we need. It's the soulish part of us. It's our sinful nature that it resists the truth that we need to make ourselves better persons. So I honor you for releasing the truth, even when it's hard truth to receive. I love it. I love it. It makes me a better person, and I appreciate you for it. Now, I don't know what your memory is of meeting me. I just know I stalk you on social media. I know me. We've been in this room at some point in time. I just can't remember. What's your memory?
So when you first started, I was saying to myself, "What is the memory?" And I was like, "Okay, let me wait for her to tell the story so I could remember." But as you were talking, I was like, "I don't even know what it is." But as you were talking, I think I did remember.
Okay.
In 2015,
Oh my gosh, you're going back. My
it was.
gosh.
I think you can
Mhm,
correct me. I think this is you. So in
mhm.
2015, I was helping Miles Jr. Plan their first
Ah,
banquet.
yes. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's exactly where we met. We talked in
And
person.
so
Hmm.
right. He would have given me contacts of people that they had worked with in the past that he wanted on board
Wow.
for the celebration. And that's how I would have gotten your contact to reach out. So he gave me your contact. And
That's
I
how we
was kind of
talk.
doing
'Cause
all the coordination.
I was like, why? Like, okay. Sometimes there are people that you follow on social media and you feel like you have a connection with them, but then there are other people like you feel a little bit more connected to them over others. So I was trying to figure out like after I asked you to be on the show, I was trying to figure out how come I was so cool asking her to just like so comfortable, like just asking her to be on the show, and she was like, "Yeah, Marisha, okay, no problem." Like I literally had this conversation in my mind, and I was like, "This was too easy. Why did this?"
After. It was after, not before. You didn't have the conversation before you asked. It was after.
That wouldn't make much sense, right? So I had the
I'm an after.
conversation. I had the conversation with myself after, and I was like, she said yes, like just like
Sure.
I was like, does she know me? I was like, yeah, I guess she does. And I was like, and then I started to go, I was like, I don't remember when we spoke, but I was like, I mean, I know I read her books. I feel like I know her. When you read somebody's book, you feel like you know them. Right. So like, I was like, I feel like I know her like inside and out. Like, I feel like I know all her business, but she don't know me.
Really and truly.
So yeah. So I'm glad that we
Yes,
cleared that up. That's right. We did have several exchanges, and
yes.
it was a pleasure encountering you in person when we did actually meet. And that's why we're here today, guys. We're here today because there was a very interesting connection established that never really died down. And I'm grateful for it. It's made me a better woman. And I
Thank
love the
you.
topic that you've chosen today, Corral. I just want to introduce you to how we've gotten to this point, and then I'm really going to throw it to you and just kind of let you talk. Um, I I've been doing this girl talk thing for like this is my third season. This is the first season that I've done by myself. I had a co-host, the beautiful, the amazing, talented Italia Wilson of Eye Candy Makeup Store. She was my co-host, and unfortunately, Eye Candy's so big now, she just don't have no time for me. She ain't got no
You
time.
got
No, seriously, her business is just has really taken off, and so I really was like, okay, well then, Girl Talk's done. We're done, and okay, Jesus, it was a good run, and yeah, and so I really was at the place of where I was done with the show, and of those are who usually tune into the show. They've heard this basically every week. I tell all my guests the story, and then God woke me up 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and gave me 47 topics for the third season.
Was
Yep.
it at 3 o'clock? He usually
Yeah,
wakes me
it's
up
like
like
yeah, it's like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Is around that time when I need sleep, and because I've just gone to sleep at midnight, so I wasn't like fully asleep. Um, so that's how we got here. And then, just like you did, just like you, I offered all of my guests the opportunity to choose their topic, to choose which one they want to do. Would give them like a list of like 10 to 12 topics and let them choose out of that listing. And so the topic that you chose today is one that I believe it only could be orchestrated by God. I don't know how everybody else feels, but I need to hear this one. This one is specifically for me. So for the rest of you, you're just eavesdropping on my conversation with Carell because she's going to talk to me. And y'all go listen by proxy. Talk to me about letting some things go. I got some things, some people, some stuff in
some
my
stuff
life
to let go.
I need to let go of. And not like that, like, put it on the side where nobody could see or hide it in that spot in your room where nobody could find and let go. Because we have that version of let go where we give the appearance that we've let it go.
Yep.
Everybody else, but we know we have a special compartment in a specific space where we know where to find it. I know for me, it's a part of who I am by nature. I hold on because I feel as though maybe it's gonna get better. Like maybe I can fix it.
Gonna-
I could stitch it, because it have a hole in it, so I could sew it. I could glue. Glue always works. Um, they can change. People change all the time. They always change, right? And
Yep.
especially for me, because I'm amazing, so people are going to change for me, because that's how I think about myself. you know and I like it's something that I know for a fact as women, to use a sweeping generalization, for many of us letting go is difficult because we're nurturers by nature. So sometimes it's hard for us to let go in those aspects. But outside of that, I just think sometimes we're just kind of stubborn and we're kind of stuck in those places where we don't want to let go. Familiarity is a huge contributing factor to it as well. We don't want to let go of what's familiar. And so I'm looking forward to our back and forth today as to how we can really release those things, those people, even some of the encounters and the circumstances and the situations that have happened to us that we've encountered. Because I think sometimes we can hold on to things like moments um, that make us feel a certain way, stuff like that. I know I have a few of them that I like to hold on to, and they're never positive. They're always the negative ones. Because I mean, why hold on to the positive? That makes too much sense, right? So I just think that this is such a timely conversation. I think that most of us have already started, if not yet, thinking about what our 2022 is going to look like, and looking at the people and the things and the situations that we need to leave in this year that we don't want to carry over into next year. So I think this conversation is very, very, very timely. What has it been like for you, like analyzing your life and looking at situations and circumstances and people and holding on to stuff and like letting it go and beating up on yourself when you don't do the right thing. What's it been like for you?
So thank you. And there's so many things you said just now. I had to kind of like jot them down because I don't want to forget what I want to say to you about some of the things that you brought up just now. But
Mhm.
for me, anyone who's ever read any of my books, you would know that I have struggled with letting go of a lot of things. That's why
Mhm.
when I read the topics, I just was kind of praying and asking God to reveal which one that He wanted me to speak
Yeah.
about. And it's been a theme in my life. I think a hard part of it is I am a writer. And so
Uh,
I always want to write how the story is going to happen. God's like, no, because you're not writing the story. I am. And I was like, but it would be so much better if it
right.
kind of went like this. And he like, no, boo, I got it.
No.
I'm writing the
Yeah.
story. My
Hmm.
thoughts are not your thoughts. Cool, cool. In my life, I've had to let go of timelines. I've had to let go of
Oh.
relationships. I've had to let go of jobs. I've had to let go of opportunities, friendships, all of that, and situations. Like I wanted to address that you were saying sometimes there's a situation that happens and you need to learn to let that situation go. So I once heard on a podcast they were interviewing a psychologist, and I think she
Mhm.
said that when you get angry or upset at something somebody did, that anger only lasts for 15 seconds. It was either 15 seconds or 30 seconds, no more. So of
Wow.
course you're like, I really don't understand that because when I'm upset for more than 15 seconds. Sometimes I'm upset
Sometimes
for
weeks.
15 days,
Right.
15 weeks, 15 years. Like I see that person and I'm just like still upset. I still
Yeah.
remember the situation, I still didn't let that go. And so what she says happens is you're upset. That upset lasts for 15 seconds or 30 seconds, whichever one it
Hmm.
is.
Hmm.
The reason why we are still upset 15 days, 15 weeks, 15 years after is because you are replaying that thought in your mind. And as we replay that thought in our mind doesn't know, but it's as if we're telling our mind it's happening again. So what is happening is every time sometimes when somebody says, I was talking to a friend today and she was like, she was telling the story about we were reminiscing about how we went to the same university, but she never wanted to come to that university. And so she was saying how, yeah, she was like, I was like, but that's how we met. She was like, I know, but she was like, I still get upset at the guy who told my mom to send me there. She was like, I saw him at your brother's funeral, and I remember, and my brother passed in 2019. We went to school in 2002. She was like, she saw him at the funeral. She's taking her soda in the kitchen, and she's like, Mr. So and so. Like she's still. I'm like, girl, we done been from that school like years, but all she remembers is I ended up at this school because you told my mom to send me like years later, and she looking at him like, mm. But what is happening is she is replaying in her mind her mom saying, you gonna go this school because this person
Mhm.
told you to go, and that's why the anger is still
Mhm.
there because your mind is acting as if it's still happening again. And so, what we have to learn to do, we have to learn to forgive that person and stop replaying that offense. As I replay that offense, I'm holding on to it.
That's like, okay, first of all, what you said was like enlightening, eye opening like definitely for me. But that's like easier said than done. Like, so I just supposed to like not replay it, like just not remember, like 'cause I do that. Like, I want you to know, like, I believe that in my former life, if I believed in reincarnation, that I was an actress. And because I just have this ability to channel my inner drama queen. And I love to like replay stuff in my head and like change my response or reaction depending on how I would have dealt with the situation. And I love to think, well, what if I had said this? Then they would have said this. And then this would have happened. And like I am definitely like that person that goes over and over and over in my mind, and then I do that with things that I need to deal with, conversations that I need to have. I try um to develop in my mind how this may go. And because I develop those preconceived notions, I sometimes walk into situations with expectations that are never met, which breeds offense and then ends up turning into something else that I can't let go because I'm really sane.
Yes,
Really sane person.
expectations is the number one killer in relationships. Expectations,
Hmm.
like
Hmm.
having these certain expectations. And when you were talking just now, you were like, no, like I rehearse it and I go over and over and I want to. It reminded me of Lion King. So you guys remember in Lion King, Disney out here teaching us life lessons. He hits him in the head, and he was like, "What do you do? What did you do that for?" And he was like, "It doesn't matter. It's in the past." He was like, "Yeah, but it still hurts." And he was like, "Ah, the past can hurt sometimes, but
Oh,
either
that's
you can
so
sit in it or
good.
you can learn. You can learn from it." So he goes to hit him again, and he moves, and clearly he learned from it. So the only thing that is supposed to teach you in that moment is what can I learn from the situation? So not replay so that I
Mhm.
can continue just feeding on it, but what did I learn from that situation? I told one of my friends, she's like, I can't believe I used to date him. I'm over him. And I was just like, what did that relationship teach you? I don't even want to think about what it taught me. No, but I mean, you're wasting it. Like you're gonna waste that pain. There's something it taught you. Let's get it. Let's get something out of it. It's already gone. We
Like,
can't take those 2 years back, but we have a lesson. Like let's learn it.
yeah. No, I don't want to. I want to be mad with him. And when I see him, I want to run him over with the car, 'cause-
You
yeah,
sound
because
like
I'm
her. That's what she said.
accident. Yeah,
Like
like
on 10
no,
when she do it.
like no, for real. But that's like, it's so it's such a girl thing to do, right? It's such a girl thing to do to sit down with your girlfriends and talk about like, girl, and you won't believe what happened, and like, and this make me so mad, and I just like, oh, like, and I was trying to let it go, I really, really was like, I was trying to let it go, but then I run into the person again, and like that's just how we are, like that's how we are. We actively participate in every emotion that we would have experienced in that moment. And for some of us, it's kind of like the way we live. Like it's what we thrive on. Like we thrive on connecting with our emotions in that way. And then for some of us, we just don't know how to be any other way. Like because that's all we've seen. We've seen our mothers do that. We've seen our aunts do that. We've seen even some of the males in our lives, the male influences around us. We've seen them just simply repeat the same cycles over and over and over and over again. There's no actual release or letting go of the thing that causes us to stumble or to come back into that place of hurt or that place of frustration or annoyance, of pain or anger or whatever the emotion is. There's not really been a healthy example of what it's like to encounter a situation that's not so great and then not repart. I mean, like that's what we do. Like this is what we do. I mean, look at Black America. This is what we do. We rehearse slavery over and over and over and over again. And it's like we rehearse these things over and over and over again. Look at the things that are changing right now in our country, and people are having this conversation now about, the whole VAT situation and the thing going up to 10% now, and now the bread basket items and all the other stuff that was VAT free, now VAT is being added on, and now we back to, okay, can you throw homeboy out and bring homeboy who we just kick out back in? I mean, like, come on, y'all. Like, come on. Like, it's what we do though. We hold on to what I think it's more than just familiar though. I think it's more than familiarity. I think there is this, and I haven't done like any like psychological research like you probably would have had like an opportunity to do, but for me, from my experiences with counseling and just with dealing with like my own life situation, there's just something on innate in human beings where we just prefer the negative. Like it's not even like it's not even like something that we prioritize or we choose. It's our preference. So that means like it's innate in us. It's like we automatically prefer negativity. We automatically prefer to hold on to something that's not lovely, that's not true, that's not beautiful, that's not encouraging, that's not uplifting. So we hold on to these negative things, and it makes us bitter, Corel. Like it makes us bitter people. It makes us reactionary instead of people who are intentional in our response. It makes us sad. We're subject to our circumstances instead of being lord over our situations. We are, we're just, it's almost like life is living us sometimes, especially as women. It's like life is living us and
Mhm.
we're not living life. It's like things are happening and we're just kind of, letting wherever the wave goes, wherever the wind blows, we end up there and not realizing that we're the one who's controlling the wind and the waves and we're
Yeah.
telling it where to go and how to feel. And it's I don't like that thing
I think
about
it's
myself.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. I think it's easier. So I think it's easier to do that. It's easier to go to the negative. And if even if you want to shed light on the spiritual aspect, it says that we are born in sin and shaped in iniquity. So
Absolutely.
therefore it's always easier to sin. It's always easier to turn to the negative thing. Allowing God to just continue to transform our life so that I am doing something that's more Christ-like is not easy. It's hard.
No.
I don't want to do it. My body is like repelling it. So sometimes when people say like, "Oh, why don't you do that? It's just natural." Of course, it's natural. We're born in sin and shaped in iniquity. Yes, it's natural. Yes, I want to do it. It's natural, but I can't follow what is natural or what is impulsive if I've agreed to allow God to be Lord over life. And so therefore, He has to transform the things that I naturally want to do and align them with things that he's called me to do. And it's not always easier. But you said, we keep going in these cycles. We keep doing it over and over and over. But that's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. I want to be happy. I want to have a life that's filled with joy. I want to enjoy my life. I want to live my best life. But you keep stopping in negativity, not going to happen. You keep engaging in these conversations. So you have to make the decision that I am going to move myself out of an environment that encourages this and go into an environment that pushes me, like you were saying with the statuses, that pushes me and sometimes cuts me because I don't want to hear it, but I need it. And that's going to propel me into what I want to do. I was reading a status the other day. It was about business, but it applies here. He said, I
Mhm.
thought it was extremely difficult to make $10,000 a month
Mhm.
until I started to surround myself with people who made $100,000 a month. And
My
so it's
goodness.
your environment. So it's your environment. Until if I keep hanging around people, if the whole crew saying yes, girl, he wrong for that, he wrong for that, girl, you see him with that, yes, girl, and I think, and that's that crew. Nobody's saying, hey, we ain't want to get over Billy so we could just stop moving on with our life. What's going on with your business right now? What's going
Yeah.
on with your workout program that you to do? Didn't you say you was
Yeah.
about to start a podcast? How'd that go? And you wrote down the topics yet?
Right.
Nobody's shifting the conversation. I'm just hanging with people who having the same old cycle conversation and waking up 10 years later and wondering, why am I still in the same position?
And it's never ending too. It's never ending. Tulsi says here, interesting. Must remind myself that it was only for a few seconds and stop replaying. Only God can help me do it. It's true.
It's true.
It's so true. It's so true. It's so true. I'll
Only
tell
God.
you this. I had a moment. I had a moment that shocked me. Like, sometimes these things can happen and you're surprised at yourself. So I had a moment where somebody said to me, they said, "Hey, I met this young lady and she's dealing with a really difficult situation and I'm going to send her to you because I know that you experienced exactly what she went through and so I think, you would be a good person for her to talk to." So I said, "Okay, no problem. Sure. Yeah, great." They didn't tell me specifically what it was. They just said, she and I had been through something similar. So the young lady starts to talk to me and she starts to share a story and I'm listening and talking. And then she says to me, "So what was it like for you when it happened to you?" And I was sitting there and I was like, "Oh crap, that happened to me." I
You
was like,
blocked it out?
I totally blocked it out. When I tell you that, like, it was the strangest feeling ever. It was somebody having to remind me that I went through this very, very painful thing. And I started to ask myself this question, like, after I was done talking to her, of course, because I needed to deal with her. But afterwards, how I was reflecting on my response in the moment. And I remember like literally picking up my iPad and starting to journal. And I was saying, like, Marisha, how did you forget this? Like, why did you forget? Did you forget it from a healthy place or from an unhealthy place? That's the first question that I asked myself. Because there
Mhm.
are times when we forget things, but it's because we've put a mental block on it. Because it takes our emotions to a place that we can't handle. And so we tell ourselves that we let it go. But what we've really done is we've completely pretended like it didn't happen. And so we
Right.
don't ever deal with the emotions that come out of it. We don't ever deal with whatever repercussions that may come out of the situation. And so I sat down and I looked at it and I was like, okay, obviously I did deal with this because I went to counseling for this thing for like 4 years. So obviously I did work through it. But my question
Right.
was, did I forget? Did I forget because I've mentally blocked it out, or did I forget because I've actually healed from this thing? And I couldn't figure it out in that moment. And so I started to write, like type inside my iPad, and I'm like, okay, you know what? God, I need you to give me clarity as to whether or not I've actually released this thing from a healthy place. And
Right.
then this would have been like earlier in the week because I remember in my prayer time that Friday, right before I got up to speak at youth group that night, I remember God bringing it back to my memory, and He said, "It's because you've been healed that you don't remember."
Mm.
And He said it to me just like that. But what He did was He intertwined it in my message. So then I was able to share it in my message that night. That listen, like, okay, so you were raped, so you were molested, but there's a place in life where you can be healed to the point where like somebody has to remind you that this thing happened. I didn't think it
Right.
was possible. I listen to me, I did not think it was possible. And somebody had to
Mhm.
remind me that this thing happened to me. And I was like, wait a minute here. And then I had a moment after that where I was like, well, now what your problem is with all these other trivial things that were so much less than this that you
Yeah,
can't
that's
let
so
go
good.
of? Like, what's your problem? Like, come on, Marisha. Seriously. Like, you, like, come on. Come
You need to
on.
get it together.
Listen to me. And I'll tell you this, Kerel, this is something that I definitely don't mind sharing. It's something that's definitely like traumatized me for like the majority of my life. I had a family situation that happened. It actually happened in Freeport, believe it or not. You may remember the story because I think you definitely would have been around then. But I had an uncle who killed my aunt. Um,
Mhm.
and she would have been my dad's sister, and he was a police officer, lived in Freeport. Um, strangled her, took her body over into the Pine Barren, lied, all kind of stuff. Ended up getting like 14 years manslaughter. So like he walking the road now, all free, everything.
Wow.
And I remember being angry, like angry at this man, like can't stand his presence, like
Right.
hate anyone, anything connected to him. I remember like traveling to other islands, running into his family members, thinking like, oh, I hate these people. I just wish God would kill them and they would die. Like I
Right.
remember like the anger that I had on the inside of me. And every time I would see him or I would see someone interesting enough, what you said, you know what I would replay over and over in my mind? The phone call that I got when I heard my uncle say my aunt was missing when he had just killed her. Because I answered the phone
Wow.
when he called the house and said, "Hey, can you let your dad know that your aunt is missing?" And so every time I saw one of his family members or I had a memory or something connected to him, I would replay over in my mind the feeling that I had when I found out that my uncle actually lied to me about what happened. And
Right.
I was just like, I can't believe this. Like, I can't like, and I was angry for years, years, Carell. When I say years, years, this happened when I was like maybe like grade 8, grade 9. I was angry for
Mm.
years. And then one day I'm at Shell gas station on Wolf Road at the roundabout, and I'm walking into the gas station and I run into him. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's him. I wanted to be angry. Carell, you ever try to look for an emotion and can't find it? I wanted
Mm.
to be angry. And I just pretended like I didn't see him. Like I am okay, don't get me wrong, y'all. I love Jesus, but hey, y'all, it's some
I
lines here. It's some lines here. So I ain't talk to him. No, I ain't say nothing.
we understand. We
Obviously, I
understand.
can have an appreciation for why I ain't say nothing. Okay? Okay, I ain't say nothing.
Me
I
too.
pretend like I see him. I know he see me because I big and I red. You can't miss me. So he see me. I pretend like I ain't see him. And I walk in and I buy my Gatorade and I pay for my gas and I came out of the gas station and then I sat in my car and I was like, you're not angry. You're not angry. And I was like, you crazy, girl, you crazy? You need to go to Sandilands today. Just talking to myself. You got to go to Sandilands. You gotta be crazy. You ain't angry. You have a right to be angry. And I'm telling myself, you
Right,
should be
right, right.
angry. You should be angry. You should be angry. It wasn't until like man, like it was a long while after that where I was praying about something else, about anger and or something like that in a situation. I remember it because I again I journaled it and God said to me, He said, hey, you remember when you saw your uncle and you wasn't angry? He said, do you know why? He said, because one night you prayed and you asked me to help you to see him the way that I see him. Because you were so angry and you were so caught up in your emotions. You prayed and you asked me to give you the sight to see him the way that I see him. And so he said, that day when you ran into him, you were looking at him through my eyes, and that's why you couldn't be angry.
That's powerful.
I was like, well, I mean, you could have told me that and then. I mean, it's just okay. So you wait till months later. All right. I mean, cool. Everything in your time. Because it's about you, not me. So I had that moment, Kerel, but I tell you no lie. I think about the trivial things that I can't let go of, like the fact that somebody said something to me that hurt my feelings. And I'm holding on to it, like little stupid stuff like that, or like somebody, like I remember somebody said something to me. I had on a dress similar to this one day, and somebody said, "Well, oh, I didn't realize your arms was that big." And I ain't gonna lie, I thought about that today when I put on this dress. How dumb is that?
Like it's still triggering.
Like, and I'm like, this is just so dumb. Like,
and is it because for the big things, and this is not only with forgiveness, but I think in life too, sometimes we feel like the big things, I have to carry those to God. But things that may seem trivial, like you call them, I'm not talking to him about them. I'm not asking him to release them things.
I mean, come on, Kerel. I can't go to God with my big arms, man. Come on. That's me. That on me.
You You say, Jesus, that hurt my feelings. And I don't really want to, come at her.
Right.
But like you said, you said something just now too. And you said, you said that hurt my feelings. And so almost like I had to receive it. Like it's my fault.
That's good.
Whereas with the other thing, it's not my fault. And so I can put full blame on the person. And that's why I need God to help me through it. But when I feel a little responsible or I'm some way, then I take some of it on. But you don't need to take any of it on. All of the things that may seem trivial, that may seem my fault, I give them all over.
That's so good, Kerel. That is so good. Man. You right? Yeah, like I'm thinking about it. I'm sorry, y'all, for the awkward pause, but I'm just thinking about it because, like, yeah, no, I take ownership of it.
Right.
The things that people say that I don't like, even like sometimes people don't have to say nothing. Just like sometimes the way people look at you, and like we take ownership of. We tell ourselves we caused it, so it's our fault. Oh,
yeah.
Goodness.
And so and so what you're asking for.
Sorry, go ahead. I just remembered something. Go ahead. Y'all forgive me. I'm having
So what you're asking for is you're asking God to help me. Okay, I was offended by that, God. Help me to understand, why did that offend me? I remember, and it all goes back to what you said at the beginning when you were bringing me on about my statuses, because I've had people in my life who said that. So for the longest, people used to say, why you ain't married yet? Or you married yet? Why you ain't married yet? And I remember telling somebody, I can't stand when people say that. That's improper. That's not proper etiquette. You shouldn't ask somebody that. They just need to know better. I just hate it. Don't ask somebody that. That's like asking a married couple and have no children yet. Just don't ask. It's not a good thing to ask. So somebody said, why are you so offended when someone asks you that? Listen, let's not get into me being offended. Let's not get into any of my insecurities. Let's not get into my insecurities about it. I don't even want to take the insecurities about it to Jesus. I just want to say that it's not proper etiquette.
Exactly.
Don't do it.
Exactly. Stop asking people their personal business. Sorry.
Don't do it.
I still feel the same way, even though I know, I still feel sorry. It's not your
when I walk away, not just me. When I walk away, and she like in the moment, I'm just like, girl, whatever, bye. But
Mhm.
walking away, I did have to have a time with God and say, why did that offend me so much? Even if it's not proper, I'm not saying it doesn't change that it's not proper, but why am I so offended by it? What insecurity am I? Because if I'm living my life the way that God has led me to live my life, and I'm surrendering my life to Him, my timelines to Him, and what He wants, then you don't have to feel insecure about that. And if you still do, bring it to me. Bring it to me,
Mhm.
and let's have. When I say bring it to me, the Father in heaven is saying, bring
Mhm.
it to me. Let's have that
Mhm.
dialogue. Let's talk about my plans for your life. Let's talk about walking in the, the will that I have for you. But I think that's what it is. Sometimes when it's a bigger issue, if I could put it all on someone else, then I put it all on them, and I need God to help me to forgive them. But if I'm starting to take ownership, or I caused this, or I feel some insecurity about what offended me, I now need to take that offense to God and say, I was offended by this. Help me to work through this.
I think that the difficult part for us, Corral, sometimes I wish God was like this physical being that I could put things in a
Facts.
box and put it in his hand, right? Because see, this is girl talk, but we have real talk here on girl talk. And like when people tell me take things to Jesus, I just look at them sometimes like, y'all, come on now. So it's just like
Sick.
let's just let's really think about what that looks like right now. Can't touch him, can't see him, feel him every now and then, hear from him a whole lot because he write a whole book. So I mean, he's talk plenty, you know, have moments definitely where I encounter him on a consistent basis. But I mean, like, I can't see him, I can't touch him. And you telling me I must take
Mm.
stuff to him and then not just take it, but leave it.
Leave
Like,
it. I want to tell you a story about what that looks like. I want to tell you a story about what that looks like. Because I think that there are other people like you that are either listening on the
yeah.
radio or typing, and they're like, girl, what you mean? Take it to Jesus. Take it to, you want me to put on Kamala Man, take me to the king, and just have the praise.
Exactly.
What do you
So cry and holler, and then get up because you that yeah, it's done now. Oh, it's finished. Two
what do you
tongues,
mean?
Rebel. Two tongues, and he got it. It's his. I own it no more. I don't know what you're talking about.
So, so I had this situation where my company, one of the things that my company does is we provide training and development for small businesses. We do marketing and everything. And so there was this tech grant that was coming up. And so so I applied for the tech grant, but I also
Mhm.
partnered with a client
Mhm.
to tell other small business owners how to apply for these grants, because I have been awarded several grants since I've been in business. That's how I got the grant to start. And so
Uh-huh.
I'm like, I'm going to do a whole workshop on how to apply for these grants with this client of mine,
Right, right,
and I'm applying the same time. So it's a workshop to tell you. I'm doing the workshop, Marisha, so I can tell you how to get this grant. Um, and then I'm applying as well. But I just did this free workshop to help you guys and for us to get business for the tech client. So
right.
anyway, a couple weeks pass. The people who are awarded get their phone calls, and I don't get a letter.
Hold on, wait. What?
I, I said, Jesus,
Sorry, pardon me.
how
Sorry, excuse
I
me.
hosted. I
Gee.
hosted to tell you how to apply. And you who attended, Marisha, you got it. You followed my instructions.
Oh,
So
Corral.
there were people who got it, who followed. And yeah. And so I was not awarded. So I had a take it to the king moment. So that's why I'm
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
practically that's why I'm gonna practically tell you what take it to the king looked like.
Right,
So
right.
I went on the beach that day, and I just, sometimes it verbally comes out. Someone passing may think she's thinking, and sometimes it's just in the head. But I just needed to go to a clear space and just be like, Jesus, why you making me look bad? Like, why you making me out on these streets, saying that I'm teaching people stuff, and I can't even get what I'm teaching them. I got a rejection letter. You were not awarded the grant. And so I said, now, Lord, you have been blessing my business over the last few years. And when it comes to purpose, I have been rocking and rolling. And I mean, I don't want to try to throw things in your face because, that's what we do with Jesus. This is legit how I talk to Jesus.
Yeah.
I don't want to throw things in your face, but I've been asking about the family, husband and children, and those haven't been working out. But you have always came through when it came to the business. But now you look like you want to play with the money. You want to play with the money. See, I was okay. You was you was holding out on the relationship. I said, okay, the money's still flowing, so we good. But now it's no money. Like help me out. Why are we drying up everything? What's going on right now? And so I'm confused. Your girl's
Right.
confused.
Yes.
So he said, because you have gotten too arrogant about the gifts that I have given you. And you think that those grants you have gotten was because of something that you did. And so therefore I needed to humble you to remind you that I am your source, not any talent or gift that you have, not any business that you have, and not anybody who does something for you. So no, you were not awarded the grant. I said, yuck me up, because you the sauce.
Jesus, I
I
sorry.
forgot. I had to get all. My pride was bruised, but my pride had to be bruised because you had to humble your girl. Yeah,
So good.
had to humble your girl. So I said, okay, because I remember, I think they said if you do not get the grant that you can message. So I did think I sent an email, but I never followed up on the email anymore because God already told me why I got it. So y'all don't need to explain nothing to me. He already told me he had to humble me down. So it's okay. So that was a Friday afternoon. So the grant I was applying for was $5,000.
Mhm.
Friday afternoon. So Monday came, just trying to, deal with it, move on, business. Tuesday came. The organization that I applied to this grant for sent me an email saying that one of the things that we need to do after awarding the grants to the individuals who are successful is carry them through a training program. We would like to hire your company to train all of the entrepreneurs that were awarded this grant. Please send in a proposal so that we can see if you are eligible to be one of the people that have bid. When I say 5 times, what 5 times? He said, I'm your source. And you want to get the little thing when I have the big thing on the way.
So good.
What I need you to do is let go of your idea of me blessing you, of your idea of what's going to work out, and humble yourself and wait for me to bring what I have for you. And so that is what walking it out looks like when I take it to the king.
That's really good.
Humbling yourself. So I didn't contact them no more. Imagine if I had gone, so why y'all didn't give me the grant? That's what I wanted to know.
I have these people.
I get it. I mean, they messaged me on that Friday, Marisha. Thanks so much for that course. I got it. Good for you, boo. I did it.
Oh my gosh. That is incredible. That is incredible. What's so crazy though is that many of us never even get to that place though. We never get to have that wow moment because of what we're holding on to. And whenever I hear people talking about letting things go, I always see that picture of where God is talking to, I believe it is Abram, and he says, "What's in your hands? Like what is that? What, or is it Moses? Moses, what is it that you have in your hand? Like what do you have in your hand?" And I always remember like the way that like God would deal with him. It was such like it was like, okay, you do this, I'm going to do this. Once you follow my instruction, then this is what I will do on your behalf. That's one of the things that always stood out to me in reference to Moses. It was like, okay, once you do this, then I'm going to do that. And then when I send you to do this, then this is what I'm going to do after that. And it's crazy because even when he didn't follow God's instructions, God still did exactly what he said he was going to do. It's just that at the end of the day, he was robbed of experiencing the fullness of what God wanted to do because God was like, you was disobedient, so you don't get to go. And I think for many of us, we don't get to experience the blessing that is rightfully ours. That is rightfully ours, because what we do is we take control and we take things into our own hands,
Mhm.
and we manipulate. We don't put it in God's hands. We don't actually let go of it. We hold on to it. Something that he was dealing with me personally. And it was so random. I was sharing it with one of my fellow ministers last night, and I was telling her that I was doing like the read through the Bible thing on the Bible app that everybody in the world has who's a Christian. And it has like the ones where you can read through the year, and I decided to do the
Yeah.
chronological reading, right? So I'm in the book of Revelation now, because I started like last year, November, October. So I'm in Revelation now, and there it's in chapter 8 where it talks about the stars that are falling and all the things that happen, like, and so it talks about the third star that fell, and the star that fell was called bitterness. And it says specifically that when bitterness fell, it fell into the water, and it made one third of the water bitter. And as a result of that, it made one third of the people bitter.
Mm.
And just like a random passage of scripture, Corral, nothing deep, I listened to that. And then as I was like reflecting on everything that I had done that day, and just like, just like kind of like chopping it up with God, not like a deep prayer conversation, just like kind of like, God, so I said this and I should not have said that. God, I did this, I should not have done that. And then God says to me, he says, okay, so you have a bitterness problem,
Mhm.
and your bitterness is like a fungus. So bitterness has made some things in your life moist that shouldn't have been wet. Now fungus is developing, and what a fungus does is that it poisons everything that comes into contact with it. Everything,
Mm.
everything. And as I was sharing it with like I said, I was sharing it with my fellow minister last night. He opened up a little bit more to me, and he showed me. He said there are some things that you're holding on to that are making you bitter. You're holding on to your right to be offended. You're holding on to your right to feel the way that you feel, like you deserve to feel because of what this person would have done to you, said to you, whatever. You're holding on to the fact that you don't want to apologize to some people that you need to apologize to. You're holding on to all of these things that you feel like you have a right to hold on to, and you're not
Mhm.
dealing with it. And what's happening is it's making you bitter. So that the great things that are happening in your life, you can't actively participate in the joy of those moments, because the bitterness is like a fungus, and it's literally poisoning every area of your life. Every
Mm.
single thing that you're encountering, it's like there's seeds of bitterness that are being sowed into it, because the reality is it's something small that you've allowed to grow and fester. And every time something else happens, it's like you hold on to it, and the fungus gets bigger and bigger. And then it turns into like this big, huge bacterial infection of your spiritual life and your emotional life and your mental life. And then you end up living in this constant cycle of toxicity where great things are happening for you and in your life, and you can't rejoice, you can't celebrate, you can't get excited, and you can't even look forward with hope for the future, because bitterness is like a fungus that exists, and it's like you can't let go. It's like you putting food in the fridge and you don't want to take it out, and
Mhm.
it's just sitting there, and it's just everything else you put in the fridge has the stench of that spoiled food, has the scent, the ugh, ugh. It's like, and when he gave me that picture, I was like, oh God, yep, that's exactly what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Mhm.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
I was talking about that on my podcast the other day, about how in life, like, the Bible tells us take heart, because in this life we will have trouble. And so when we think that if I just can let this go, or if I can just get to this point, or if this could just happen joyful, then I would be great. But the point is, in every season of our life, there are going to be tests and trials, because the Bible tells us take heart, because
Mhm.
you will have troubles, but take heart because I will overcome the world. And
Mhm.
so therefore, if I am to this bitterness and I can't enjoy what's going on in my life, I'm never going to enjoy my life, because
No.
there's always going to be something that's going to affect you. There's always going to be something that you can be offended about. There's always
Yeah.
going to be something that you can hang on to. You won't enjoy any moment of your life. You won't. You've been waiting for this job, and then you realize that, okay, I don't have weekends off because there are things they want me to work on. Man, I don't have my weekends off. I don't have my dinner. This person on this job say something to me. Like, there's always the enemy comes steal, kill, and destroy. And most
Yes.
people think, like, physically he's coming to steal, kill, and destroy. He's coming to
Right.
steal your joy. He's coming to steal your peace.
Mhm.
Those are the things he's coming to steal, kill, and destroy. And so therefore, I can decide to hold on to this offense, or I can let it go. I can let it go, because I can't fully be who God has called me to be. I can't fully enjoy this moment if I just want to hold on to these other things. Hold on, let go. Hold on. You're always in this life. You're always going to have trouble. You're always going to have that. And so,
Always.
either I can hold on to the bitterness, or I can allow God to help me. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. I don't want to sound super churchy or super religious. You got to take it to Him. You
Yeah.
got to take it to Him. And like you said, the pride. I think it's the pride that's a big issue for
Major.
a lot of us.
Major.
I think
Major.
pride. The story I just told, it was all pride. Well, how I gonna look? I done just gone hold this big workshop. You gonna look stink. You gonna look dumb. You gonna look like it didn't happen for you. Hang, a humble child. A humble child comes to God humble. You would inherit when you're humble. That's when God will exalt those who are humble. But if I tried to put myself up, then I'm not going to see what God has for me, because I'm too blinded by having things go my way. I'm so worried about how I appear to you. If you do
Oh,
something to me and I don't pop off, you can think I weak. You can think you could take advantage of me.
I know doormat. I don't want you around here looking like no doormat.
I'm a pop off.
Ah,
I'm a
Jesus.
pop off. I'm gonna hold on to that. I'm gonna cut my eye. I'm gonna tell everybody don't talk to you. I'm gonna tell everybody don't
Mhm.
associate with you. I'm gonna do all of that because I can't look weak. But
Mhm.
one of the things that we realize, I remember, I always tell people, I said, "Mom, you need that top of the brown top of the brown kind of to faith, and that top of the brown kind of, when she came, when Wendy Williams came after her and her husband, and she just, Wendy, I love you. I pray for you. I pray that you experience that kind of love. You see, me and my husband, we never had money. So money's not a big thing. If money goes, we spend 20 years with no money. So money goes right now. It's not a big deal. Like she didn't come for her. And so many times we want to come for so many people, but how many more lives were changed? Because see, I'm not on earth for me. I'm not on earth for me. Raquel said, because you got to prove a point.
I thought I was here for me. Me? No.
You're not here for you. You're not here for you. Once I've accepted Christ, I am now his example in the earth. And that hurts. That hurts your pride. It hurts your ego. A lot of, like I said, you gotta let go. If I'm not here for me, that hurts my agenda. That hurts my ambition. That hurts my all the things that I wanted to do or wanted to be betrayed as. I have to
Mhm.
always concede to what he's telling me to do. But when I do, that's when I experience the fruits of the spirit: joy, peace, love, kindness.
Yes.
But
Yes.
when I
Ugh.
don't, and I hold on to pride, and it going my way, and me looking a certain way, I'm filled with that bitterness that you were talking
Me,
about just
me, me,
now.
me, me, me.
And it keeps me from
Mm.
enjoying the blessings that God is in my life.
Oh my gosh. Xavier asked a really good question. She says, do you have to reconcile with persons? Do you have to reconcile with persons that you've had these negative experiences with in order to let go? What do you say, Carl?
So reconcile looks different in
Yes.
every aspect.
Yes.
Reconciliation looks different. So I don't want, so the reason why I want to, and I know I'm answering Xavier, but other people are listening. So I don't want, someone who'd been dying to get that conversation back with their ex and be like, well, I was listening to Marisha Girl Talk today, and she said that I could call him back and just have a
Oh,
conversation. No, boo boo, no, boo
what
boo.
you
Let's listen.
say?
Let's listen, boo boo. No, no. The thoughts of this
Right.
show, no. but what I'm saying is, one, you have to. The first thing, and it may sound like it goes without saying, but you have to forgive. You have to genuinely forgive. And when you forgive, I was just watch a video with Joyce Day. You also, it says, the Bible is blessing those who. And so not only do I forgive and remember that forgiveness is a journey, so it may not happen overnight. I have to consistently say, I forgive. Lord, help me to forgive. I have to pray for blessings over you. That means I wish well for you. It's hard, but I wish well for you. And again, it takes a while. Reconciliation looks different. For some people, you have to assess and allow the Holy Spirit to say, is this a person I have a conversation with? Because everybody isn't someone you have a conversation with.
It's true.
Because some people, you don't need to have that conversation. They may not be ready, and you cannot force reconciliation. Like, just because you're ready to reconcile, the person may not be able to be ready to reconcile. And so
Right.
therefore, it's also about, do I contact this person? Do I not contact this person? But the first thing is, I need to forgive them, and I need to pray for blessings for them, and then ask the Holy Spirit, is this the kind of person I have reconciliation with? Now, if the person is the person that offended you, sometimes people are asking, well, they offended me, and I just want to know, do I have to be friends with them again? We experience different kind of pain in our life. And so even if you have reconciled to the point where you say, you know what, Marisha, I forgive you, we're good, she still may be someone you have to execute boundaries with, because I can love you while having boundaries.
It's really good.
I can love you while having boundaries. And so therefore, we have to understand that I can forgive you, I can just move on, and I can have boundaries. Because in certain situations, it may not make it better for us to be the way we were before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you may have to instill boundaries. And so I've had relationships of all kinds. I have friendship relationships where I forgave the person, but we still do not speak. If I see them out, I will say hello. I've had relationships where it's progress. It's progress from saying hello to now I would give you but it just organically progressed. It wasn't like we should be at this level yet since we worked out. No, it just organically. I forgave you. I asked God to bless you, and then I allowed the organic to move forward. But really praying about, for this person, what does reconciliation look like? Because I have been on the end, Marisha, where I've tried. I had a friendship breakup. I know we talk a lot about relationship breakups with the opposite sex or significant others, but I don't know if you ever went through a friendship. Yeah, friendship. And so I took them to lunch because I wanted us to get it all out. And Marisha, she was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm like, I know we didn't talk like that. That's how friendships go sometimes. I was like, my girl was like, she done.
She good.
Like, I didn't even need this lunch. I'm good. Like, we're not friends no more, and I'm good. Like, we're cordial, but we are not how we used to be. And so I was having that lunch, maybe saying, maybe this conversation, but no, she good. She don't need to get back there. And I was just like, okay, well, I'll take the bill. Okay, thanks, sir. I guess that's it. You wasn't affected by it at all. So that's another thing of removing expectations when you come to reconciliation. Remove that, because my girl, she's done with me. She was
finished.
Done.
She was done. I think what's so important when it comes to, especially those moments where, like, when it comes to those situations where, like, you need to reconcile with people, I think you have to let go the expectations of the prior expectations of your previous, like, connection or the version of the relationship that you've had. It's something that I've learned. So similar to you, I've had situations where I've had, like, really, really good friends, and, like, something has happened between us that has caused offense. Or sometimes what it is too is, like, over the years things happen, and, like, as things continue to happen over and over again, it causes, like, separation to happen, like, gradually. So I had this moment where I was like, Marisha, you're holding on to what you thought this friendship was to consistently look like not evolving, not changing. You just want to hold on to the idea of like, this is my friend and this is how we used to be and this is how it always could be. And sometimes a part of reconciliation is letting go of what we knew to be that relationship and reevaluating what it's like to relate to that person because we are not the same people anymore. We've both changed. We've grown. Some of us have stayed in the same place. And, we've changed our appetites. We've changed our likes and dislikes. Some things we used to wear, they look stupid now. like, and so it's like there are elements of the relationship that you kind of have to let go of and let go in a peaceful way. Don't let go like, well, I guess I have to get over this now. Not like that, but like let go and be like, it's okay. It's not like that anymore. I have to be at peace with it. And then you have to be willing to embrace the new. So it may not mean that you talk to the person as much as you used to. It may not mean that you talk to them at all. Just to make sure that whatever you do, your motives are pure. And I think that's the thing that we forget. We forget that at the end of the day, these people can't see our hearts, but God can. And he's looking at us and he's like, well, your boundaries look healthy to everybody else. But what it really is that you like bitter and you mad and you angry. And what you're really doing is you're not forgiving her. You're just making sure she can't hurt you again or he can't hurt you again. And that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is pure in heart. Forgiveness is, okay, I'm going to give this person an opportunity to do what they did to me again. That's what Jesus says real forgiveness is.
Facts.
But the way that you walk that out looks differently because I don't have to give you the same access to me. I don't have to. But the reality is, if I'm holding on to the thing that you've done and that sets the boundary for how we relate to one another, I haven't forgiven you. I haven't. What I've done is I've made an adjustment according to my hurt and my pain. And I'm now living out of a place of trauma. And I've established a boundary in that relationship from a place of trauma. We have to let go of it all. Then look at the person that's sitting in front of you that you're trying to establish a relationship with. And you have to be like, okay, who are you? Because this is who I am. How can we now relate to one another? If we decide that reconciliation is only going to come from the pain that we experience with one another, we will always act out of that trauma. And this relationship will always have that connection of pain, hurt, anger, frustration, mad, sad, whatever the feeling was, offense, whatever it was. We will always have that connection sitting there. It'll be a part of our foundation and the building will never stand. It'll always be faulty. It's like when you have a cancer in your body, doctors don't just remove the cancerous tumor. They put you through chemotherapy and radiation to get rid of every cancerous cell in your body to ensure that there is no way it is possible for this cancer to redevelop in your body ever again. And it's something that we don't do in our relationships. When offense comes, what we do is we make a turning point to either go forward with the person or we make a turning point to not go forward with the person based upon the trauma, not based upon the relationship before the trauma, not based upon where we were, not based upon the experiences that we had. We make decisions based upon the trauma and we hold on to it instead of letting it go. What I hate about me, Kerel, is that because I don't want to make it seem like I'm talking at people, because this is what I hate about me.
Right.
I want people to forgive me. I do. I genuinely want to be forgiven.
Give me.
I want to be restored in right standing, where you completely let go of all the stupid things that I said and did, and you just completely forget how dumb I was, how selfish I was, how dramatic I was, how extra I was, how annoying I was, how silly I was, how offensive I was. I want you to do that for me. But here's the problem that I have with me. I ain't interested in doing it for you. And if every single one of us think about that one situation that we still dealing with right now, because all us got one, If you think about it, if we think about it, our number one problem right now is we feel like we have a right to feel what we feel and what we're going through right now. We feel like we have a right to. We feel like we have a
Mhm.
right to, and we don't want to extend that same forgiveness, that same grace, that same mercy that truly letting go of a situation demands. We don't want to give it, but we want to receive it. That's the bottom
Mhm.
line. We want it. What we listen, I in tears. Correct, like I don't understand. Like, how you can't forgive me. Like, I don't get it. Like, why can't you forgive me? But the reality is, when it's your turn now, forgive who? I almost going to say something. Forgive who? What does it look like? No, because we
Amnesia. Amnesia.
oh it is it's the selfish part of us, right? It's the selfish part
Mhm.
of us, but it's also that part of us that has not been taught that like the healthy thing to do is to let it go.
Mhm.
It's that part of us that's been told like by these stupid things that we watch on TV. Girl, hold on to that drama. Pull her weave out. Slap her. Okay, don't do it physically, but do it in your head while you smile it up in her
Right.
face. You understand what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
we have created what I like to call these monuments or memorials that dictate how we live life from then on. Because when something when something or a relationship dies or anyone dies, there's usually some sort of memorial that's established that you refer to remember the person. And what we do is we create memorials around trauma, Carell.
Mhm.
And whenever we think about that person, we reflect and we look like, oh yeah, you remember that? That's why I don't deal with him no more.
That's why I don't deal with it no more. It's easier. It's easier. It's easier. It goes back to how the negative thinking we were talking about earlier. It's
Yeah.
easier because, like, when you said that just now, I'm like, oh no, I don't know. And you know, the Holy Spirit will bring it to you, like, no, there's no, oh, right there, right there. You remember the person right there? Don't forget, ha, she right there. You ain't forget her. Don't try it. Don't try come on this show and act like, look at you, look at you. There she is. Remember her. So while you were talking, I was like, okay, I got it. I got it in my head. I know who you mean. I know who I forget.
Yeah.
And why don't you have this conversation? I want no drama. I don't want no kick up. It's easier just to ignore them. I don't, but also, what if they say something to you that you have done that was offensive that now makes you have to look at yourself? Look at the ugly parts of yourself that you're not ready to deal with.
I perfect. We talking to. I'm at
Esther, Esther, I don't care what she got to say. No, 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 no. Because in that dialogue, if you are, big enough to have that, if you're big enough to put your big girl panties on and have that dialogue, they may
Yes.
just have that conversation with you to let you know about the ugly parts about you.
I'm
And
not
you don't want to deal
ugly.
with that. You don't want to deal with that. And
No,
so
no,
you sit
no.
there and you say, yeah, I got no one I have to forgive. And if it's them, or if they come in your mind, it's like it's all them. I don't own none of it. No, no, no. Own some of it. Some of it you did. But it's easier. It's easier to ignore. It's easier not to have that conversation. It's easier for you to come to me. And I still may not say nothing to you. I don't know. But it's just easier.
You ever make up in your mind that you're gonna talk to somebody and then you replay a previous conversation you have with them and then you be like, I ain't talking to them no more, because the
Telling
last
you,
the last time
the last time I
I
tried,
did that, I try fix this little thing. It's like, oh,
Marisha,
shoot
let me
me in
tell
the
you.
face. Oh, jeez.
I telling you, you don't want to, like. I don't want to go through it. That's work. Like I've had, like the situation, Marisha,
I ain't interested.
situation.
I ain't interested.
I'm
Like,
telling you,
it ain't worth it.
like, they want to be offended. I ain't trying to be. They want to be offended. I tried to fix this before.
Want to be. They
They
want
want to
to
be.
be offended. And it's hard to have relationships with people like that And
But what I've
it's
done is what you said earlier. Because we were talking about forgiveness and we were talking about boundaries. And what you said is what we both said, you got to learn to forgive the person. And I don't want people to miss this. So that's why I want to repeat it because it was so good and it spoke to me. You do have to forgive and you do have to pray for blessings on that person and then you execute boundaries. But what we do and what I have done in the situation that came up in my mind while we were doing this is I have executed boundaries from my
oh
trauma. The motives have not been dealt with yet.
nope, nope,
Praying for blessings for the person have not been dealt with yet. You
nope.
went straight to boundaries from a place of trauma.
You just around here cutting people off. Just cutting people off. Just cutting. Oh no, I can't deal with y'all toxic people. No, you're behind toxic. You're cutting people off. Y'all toxic behind it. I mean me, Marisha. Yes. Oh, do better, Marisha, man. Just do better. Do better. I think, Kerel, the number one thing for us is I think we've become an evolved kind of human now, where social media, where the internet, where everything is just kind of open up to us. Information is out there like crazy, and it gives us clarity as to the things that need to be dealt with in our lives. Like, if you do not have access to the information to make you a better person, it's because you don't want it. It's not because of a lack of the truth that needs to be heard. It's because you don't want to know the truth. And for those of us who have these moments like we're having now in front of y'all, where we're enlightened, I think it's important for us to move past the point of enlightenment to action. That's my issue, Kerel. I don't know what yours is, but my issue is I could be very enlightened. Ooh, listen, I could even tell you what you mean you don't have nobody to forgive. I remember that situation where you chose not to forgive the person. And you was just telling me the other day about how you saw her and she make you mad. That's her right there. You need to deal with her. And I could be very enlightening. And I could point out in your life all these things that you need to do. And then I sitting right here with my enlightened self. Not remembering, but choosing not to act on the fact that, yeah, you need to deal with that with him. Her too. And that one from 4 years ago who you just like conveniently no longer have to see because they pick up and move to another island. No, deal with that too. Because just because the person isn't in your proximity, it doesn't mean that the trauma from that relationship is still not affecting you.
Yeah.
You gotta let that go too. We've been talking so much. Let's get some of these comments. And I was flashing the comments on the screen. I'm being a bad host. And it's 47 minutes after 5. Like the show don't answer its clock. Anyway, we gotta learn. We gotta learn that we have to let go to grow. Sometimes there is just no other way. Just consider the split ends on your hair. Gotta cut them off, buddy. Me and my hairdressers fight with that all the time. I love you, Tilly, but I still want part with them ends, man. Be like, nope, never mind. Scratch that. Yes, babe. I just be like, I'm even interested, man. Some people like to carry wounds because they love the pity party. Just let them be. Forgive them and draw the line. Then keep it moving. The spirits of offense and unforgiveness prevent necessary healing and growth. That is so true. That is so true. Shaquanda, I know you're laughing at us. Me and Kerel probably been laughing while we've been talking sense on this show. We just been laughing plenty. I hope you all laugh too, because I'm having such a great time. All right, Kerel, we actually have to do the sensible thing and like bring this conversation to a close, like some sort of
No problem. No problem.
um
Put on your sensible hats.
I know, right? Like just calm down here. Be adults here. Can't do it. I'm sorry. This is who I am. I'm silly. So I think the action for me, talking to you as my girlfriend while these people eavesdropping on all us, all these people on the radio and on Twitter, on YouTube and Facebook and on the podcast, they eavesdropping on our conversation. And for me, my action in some ways actually doesn't even require conversation. It just requires a change in behavior. And for me, some of my actions are to literally release some thoughts that I've been replaying in my mind, like saying, like, "Come on, that happened like a really long time ago." So, I mean, yesterday was yesterday. Today is now today. and today almost over. So that's what it looks like for me. And then it also looks like freeing my hand, letting things go, knowing what to pick up once I let stuff go. What am I picking up from here? Because I think a lot of times we empty our hands and we stop right there. Okay, I gotta let this thing go, and then we release it and we let it go, but we don't pick up anything. You said it earlier. What have we learned from the situation? What are you picking up from this? What is the gem? What is the golden nugget that you're gonna take and pull from the situation to ensure that you never end up back in this place again? And I think those are my action items when I think even to some specific situations that I have sitting before me even now, and I'm just like, there's some people I need to talk to. So I'm not, y'all. I'm not saying that I don't have people to talk to. I got people to talk to, and I'll talk to those people. But I think even more importantly, I've learned that I could have conversations with people, and I could have conversations with people and conversations with people. But if the issue is my bad thinking, I could be having plenty of conversations with people for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
There's some conversations I need to have with myself first, because everything that I say is coming out of the negativity that I'm breeding on the inside of myself. And I think that that's what's most important for so many of us as women, that when we talk about letting things go, sometimes I think we need to let go of the ideas that we have about ourselves and
Ooh.
allow God to teach us who to be.
Yep.
Let go of the things that you think you should be, or the person that you thought you're supposed to be, and the prideful portion of yourself that when you make a mistake won't allow you to just be a person who makes mistakes, because it's okay, you make mistakes. Let go of whatever it is somebody told you were supposed to do with your life and you didn't get to do it, and now you beat up on yourself every day because you feel like you're a failure. You got to let go of those things. God is the one who establishes who we are by character and nature. He's the one that sets the path before us through which we live out the character, the purpose, and the plan that He's placed on the inside of us, that He has set before us. And when we decide that we want to hold on to what it is that what we want, we don't free our hands to pick up what it is that He has for us. And that's what, like, this conversation has brought me to here and now, thinking, don't just let go. Wait, pick up some stuff. Pick up some stuff you need, because there's some things you need to pick up, like patience. People,
Yes. The final thing that I did want to say, that I want to share with people, is to be willing to give love and be willing to receive love.
so
Be willing to
good.
give love and be willing to receive love. About 2 weeks ago, the Holy Spirit illuminated this part of the First Corinthians 13 verse with love is patient, love is kind, love is jealous. It's not, love is not jealous. It's not jealous. It's not boastful. It's not proud. We talked about pride today. It does not demand its own way. And that's what shined out for me.
It's
I
good.
tend to demand my own way.
Mm,
Whereas I have a problem letting go of something because God didn't bring it on my timeline, because God didn't bring what I thought, because the opportunity didn't come, because the opportunity is here and God is telling me this is not the season. I
yeah.
had to let go. But what I did when I'm not letting go is I'm insisting on my own way. And so if I am going to be willing to receive love from the Father and give love to the Father, I have to not insist on my own way. If when I'm in
That's
dynamics of
good.
friendships and business relationships and romantic relationships, if I am insisting on my own way and I don't want to let go of my own way, then I am not giving love and I'm not opening myself to receive love. And so, one of the things that I want to leave with you today is that a reason why it's so hard to let go of an offense, let go of a relationship, let go of an opportunity, is because I am insisting on my own way. And when I
Mm,
release my own way, like Marisha said, that's when I'm able to receive from God what He has for me. When I release the $5,000 that I have to have from this particular opportunity
oh, that's
and
so
just said,
good.
God, I want to receive what you have for me. Show me your love. He said, I'm going to bless you 5 times what you thought you were trying to get on your own. And be reminded to be humble because I am your source.
I, Corel, I just have to let you know that testimony has woken me up. You holding on to 5,000, and God got triple that for you. Let it go. Crazy
Let it
behind
go.
man. Just crazy.
Let it
That
go.
is just so powerful. Oh my gosh, girl. Thank you so much for
No
this
problem.
today. Oh, this has been refreshing for me. I needed this. I needed this. Thank you. Thank you for coming on this show and offending me even more than I've been offended by you before.
I hope you're offended. I offended you. Are
Thank
you
you.
offended?
Thank you. I appreciate you. Oh man, listen, y'all. Before we go, I need you to tell people about your books, any upcoming plays, or anything you have going on. You gotta let the people know what's happening in
Yay!
your life, what you got going on.
Yes. So I do have I think we need to restock. So my books, these are my books. 1 Year Challenge, May I Call You Queen. This was not a promo. I usually teach from this corner right here. So I just had them on the
Yeah.
shelf. So these are they're on Amazon. I do need to restock. Before they were in the University Bahamas bookstore, but they're out. So I need to restock. But other than that, you can get them on Amazon. But I was supposed to say this because Marisha said she never caught one of my plays. So all of you who have never caught a play, I have a series coming out. It doesn't matter where you are in the world because we're releasing
My
it on YouTube.
goodness, that's
It's on YouTube.
awesome.
It's on YouTube and it's called Easy Love. There are going to be 4 episodes. It's going to
Wow.
be amazing. Before the end of the year, it will premiere and it's going to be on YouTube. So if you follow
I'm
me on Facebook,
excited.
if you love romantic series, it's all Bahamian production, so Bahamian actors, all of our DP, the writer, it's me. But everybody, it's all Bahamian production. It's really good. I'm super excited about it. And I can feel confident saying that now. Like I put out the poster the other day and my editor was like, "You making me nervous with all these people." I was like, it's gonna be good. But we've started to see some of the things come out in post and I can't wait. So if you've never seen one of my productions, it's okay because this is on YouTube and no matter where you are in the world, you'd be able to watch it.
This is great. So, Kerel, tell people how to find you on Facebook.
So Facebook, it's Kerel Pinder. It's just my name, Kerel Pinder. Send me a invitation. Maybe send a message with it because sometimes there's a lot of people who send messages, send requests. So send a message with it. On
Yeah.
Instagram, it's Kerel Pinder 1908. I've been off of Instagram for the year, but I will be back in 2022. So she has it up there for Instagram. But
Yep.
yes, you can connect with me in that way. And the Royal Access. How am I forgetting? So I have a podcast, a weekly podcast called the Royal
Yes.
Access. So if you follow podcasts, go follow the Royal Access, and you can join the Royal Access community. We have a Facebook group that you can so just put in the Royal Access and send to join. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Kerel. And I definitely have to buy your other book. I'll definitely make that happen. I need to do that. I'm a Kindle girl, so I like
Okay, yeah,
digital
you can get it right on Kindle. Yeah.
and I take my Apple Pencil and I write all over everything, and I'm in my happy place, and then I get to go back to my happy place whenever I want to because it's right in my bag. So yes, I definitely have to get your other book, and I'm super excited. Congratulations on the series! I can't wait to watch it. I know it's going to be amazing. Ladies, let's support our sister. Let's not hate. Let's celebrate. Okay, all right, girl.
And
I
it's
love
free.
you.
It's free.
Free.
Go to Island Dream Production, give us a sub. It's free. It's YouTube.
Awesome, awesome. I love you like I've known you all of my life. Thank you so much
Oh, thank
for
you.
sharing this time with us today. All right, y'all. So we gotta go. We are way over time. Stay tuned. We got more girl talk coming your way the remainder of this month. So you definitely want to stay tuned. We're getting ready to close for the year, y'all. I can't believe it. I don't even know how we got through this year so fast. It's just like it feel like we was walking into another year of the pandemic in January yesterday. And here we are now in October, about to be in November by next week. And I can't believe it. I want to encourage us all, y'all. Let's be intentional. If there's one thing that comes out of every one of our shows is that as women, we need to live intentionally. Our theme for this season of Girl Talk is find your tribe. You need to get you some good girlfriends. You need them. We need one another. Whether it's somebody to be that shoulder that you can lean on, the shoulder to cry on, the iron that sharpens iron, somebody just to support you in whatever it is that you're doing, to push you, to make you a better person. You need to get you some good girlfriends. And while you out there looking for them, don't forget to be her. Don't forget to be that shoulder that somebody could cry on and lean on. Don't forget to be the iron that sharpens iron. Don't forget to be somebody's cheerleader, somebody's encourager, somebody's corner in the corner pushing somebody to be a better version of themselves. Let's not just take, let's give. Kerel said it. Give love, receive love. It's been an amazing show. I love you guys. For all of you who tune in every week, oh my goodness, y'all make me feel like we have something with sense to say, and we truly appreciate you. Until next time, y'all, I gots to go. It's been a crazy day, long day. Corral, I love you like cook food, and I'm a big girl. I love food.
Love you. Thank you for this
Love you too.
opportunity. Love
Thank you again. You guys have an amazing Thursday, an amazing weekend. God bless.